Wow. Hello again, everybody. I went shopping, of course. Not that I needed more stuff, because as you kind of see, I have to share my scary area now with some fun things for my niece. This is not going to stay this color. Believe me, pink, no. But I did get a chance to get to a different Joann's store and actually a little thrift haul. So kind of combo, picking up a few things here. So let's dive in. I had spoken in a previous video, the Savers 2nd Avenue thrift store, which is a newer store here. And the first time I was very disappointed. I didn't like the prices, but I thought maybe I should give them a second chance. Thrift options are running low. And I went in and I was still disappointed. I did get a few things. Some more kids things here. These nice little kid kind of learning boards. This was $6, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 double-sided boards. So this is kind of fun, good home kind of practice for my niece that can stay here with all her smorgasbord of stuff already. Brief video haul, actually. I did get a couple Roy Orbison, and this is the Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol in a nice snap case to add to my snap cakes collection. I've done videos where actually I've gotten other Roy Orbison things, and I was just listening to the Traveling Wilburys again. Highly recommend everybody should listen to them. And I did a snap case video also. That was kind of why I wanted to go to this 2nd Avenue Savers, because they do have a large, I'm excited. They have a large video section, but I always kind of come away just slightly disappointed. These were both $3, and because they were special and unique, I got them. But they also had this, this is entirely bemusing and creepy, weird suspect to me. Instead of TV season box sets, where there's sort of a slip box that then will have 3 or 4 little cases, disc 1, disc 2, disc 3, they didn't have the box. They just had the individual discs of season TV sets that were each marked $2 each. So instead of $5 for one season box set, you were paying $2 a piece for the individual discs. I'm like, that's like, okay, that's, maybe it's not shady, but it's like, you're being an a-hole with that, okay? Because, you know, you're not getting the whole item set, you're paying for each thing individually. It just seems really obnoxious and crappy to me. So it's like, and then you had to use a self-checkout, and I don't use self-checkouts. I was so annoyed. So, you know, this was the second time I've been to this thrift store, and I was even further disappointed. So even if I chance upon some great things, you know, there was part of me that was kind of like, I could walk out now. But oh, I got some other big jumbo. Their books were also expensive, and their VHS, like, their VHS was like $5. So, like, stupid Titanic, there was a bunch of, but the same thing. The 2 cassettes were each $2.50, and it's like, oh, come on, like, stop screwing people over with your price. I did get this little jumbo Scooby-Doo book also for my niece, and this was for $5 a sheet set, which I realized in my previous hauls of fabric that I had a lot of orange fabric that I wanted to make things with, and I had other orange cottons that I had gotten that I also wanted to make out of things. And I kind of realized I'm going to need some liners for some of these things, and I didn't really have. I've got the other duck cloth orange, actually, that you can see over there. My pile keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I still have the orange roll of the polyester satiny type thing. So I didn't have any orange that was good for lining materials. So, and I really go by fabric with touch. So these are really soft. They feel like a microfiber cotton kind of sheet. And again, I thought it'd be kind of fun because I thought, well, I do have black, you know, satin, your basic kind of black kind of linings. That I usually do things, just always line things in black anyway. But I thought, well, you know, it would even be fun if I had something that was black and orange, and then, woof, you know, you saw a pop of ridiculously bright orange underneath. And I even, in a grab bag of fabric, last I had been at Goodwill, there was a really nice rust orange in there, and it turned out that it was actually 2 of the king size pillowcases. So part of me was kind of like, I wish I had an orange themed bedroom that I could actually use them properly. But then they felt really good. And I was like, these would be really great in maybe a separate skirt or a matching kind of blouse and the pillowcase kind of pattern. And then again, the same thing. I was like, but I don't really have any good lining for them. So, and also, yeah, practicing in some of these things, getting some fun liner in some things. So this was worth the price. I couldn't buy the sheets or this kind of cottony type material for $5. So that was what I got from the thrift haul. So a Halloween bag, and I'll just toss those on the cat right over there. Joann fabric. I went to a different Joann's than I did previously. We have a couple, I say nearby, but they're each over a half hour away. So this one I probably won't go back to. It didn't have as good as sales, I think, even though it's been a few weeks. So you would think that the numbers would change. They were still cutting fabric, and the prices still, a lot of the little things were still only 10 or 25% off. I got one of these bags, which I think I probably already had, but it's kind of a spooky fall looking kind of bag. This one I will probably, this is a gift, but I'm showing anyway because I think it's kind of funny cute. I don't like mushrooms, but I like the Dorothy correcting the cast shiitake mushrooms. And I'm wearing my thrift dress and my thrift belts. But so I did get a few markdown things that were just the regular kind of clearance. The jewelry prices were better. I don't do yarn things. My niece, this niece's mother, baby niece's mother, she's into yarn types, but their yarn, again, some of it was also only 25% off and still kind of higher price compared to the bigger skeins compared to the smaller skeins. So these were the clearance little ones of the Big Twist that were just only $1. So I got a couple, I guess I should link some of her stuff. She's Gialli Creations, where they do like little, I don't know, they make little ghosts or little octopus type things or something. So I kind of tried to get kind of cool kind of colors, but I'm not a yarn person, but it doesn't seem like to me as a lay person that the yarn sales were that good, that you could walk in and just, hey, let me throw away some money on some yarn as new kind of practice. So, but yeah, at the same instance, the aisles were kind of already picked over. So this was this kind of the, difficult for you to see, sorry. I have another video where I did some mending where I had a long skirt that got caught up in the shopping cart wheel, as may happen, that I actually had like a nicer lace applique that I did up the kind of skirt to hide all that. And I had another one actually similar. This one had a spot where they had a little hook where they had closed this up, and I had another dress like that where I have to get them bigger, but then I tend to always have to adjust in the chest or up in the shoulder. So this I thought was actually kind of a nicer little kind of scroll, kind of, sorry, it's light's not cooperating, it's black, a little scroll applique that maybe if I do need to do a little more design work to kind of hide where I've patched or fixed something. And this was half off. There were a few things that were half. The jewelry was half. I got some jewelry things also. Some of this of their cheap yarn, I'm sorry. The, I think this kind was still only 40%. And I got another gold because I kind of wasn't sure at this point, comparing and contrasting some of the gold that I'd gotten to make fancy things for my niece. Yellow and gold is her favorite. But these, the regular old-fashioned things that are usually $1, they were 50 cents. So I got a couple of these. I wasn't sure, again, what kind of green that I had. Threads. I actually got these little scissors. When my niece was here the other day, she wanted to use my big fabric shears. And I said, no, nobody touches my big fabric shears. And I have, it's so funny, little blunt child scissors that I always used to snip at my machine. But in seam ripping that apron, I did kind of realize, seam ripping the polka dot skirt that I messed up and turned it into an apron. I should be making more videos to update on these kinds of things. I'm just slow, trying to catch up on my writing first and everything. But I realized that, I need a good pair of the nice fancy snips. And I think these might have been 25 or 30% off. But I'm like, I need them. So I got them. This was Halloween. It was marked Halloween lace. And I think I have actually similar of this kind of, the cheapy kind of Joann lace, but it was 80% off of $6. So I was like, you know what? To just do some borders of black lace on all these giant skirts that I've been making, that's not so bad. Remnants, I got remnants. Yeah, I did get some fabric. Again, I have to go by texture. This was just a fun dinosaur print because, again, I have other dinosaur prints that I made for my niece, different pillows and pillowcases, but it's funny that she likes dinosaurs, as you can clearly see here. But I didn't have anything that was the good kind of apparel cotton baby. So this was a fun dinosaur on a skateboard. And these two, I think, are similar of rayon knit spandexy part type. One in a pomegranate. And again, these were almost yards, 0.8 and 0.9. And this one is a black. Again, because these are things that generally this is what I would use to go. I would go to Joann's when I needed remnants like this because I needed underlinings and inner layers and things like that. So that's what these are handy for me. Yes, I bought things for myself. I did buy this nice of the silky, milky, chunky thing because I have this in other colors, of course. And this is what I use actually for the cats, for their bedding when I'm making things for them. And their front window bench is actually covered in a silvery kind of color from before we moved here. I just reused the same cushion and it's getting kind of sun faded. So, and it doesn't really match the room anyway. So I was like, ooh, a nice soft cozy muffin red. And I did get this that's actually dog print, but this is a half yard. So just a little cat snuggly thing. I have to go by touching it to make sure they're nice and soft and cozy. Oh, the little jewelry bits. Jewelry stuff that I didn't necessarily need, maybe, but it was 50% off. So you just have to keep an eye on it. This Joann's that I previously went to is slightly further from me. It's very close to the city, and there's a lot of construction and highway traffic and things, and I had to time it correctly to be there after the morning rush hour, but be out of there before the evening rush hour. So it was difficult to kind of coordinate that. Like, I have to hit all the shops before I have to get off the highway. But I'll probably go back to the other Joann's because it seemed like that one, even though this one is a newer, bigger store, it seemed like it had a lot less. So I will go to the other one again, probably one more time. Maybe when they actually announce that some of the fabric is just buy the whole bolts, because I've been on Reddit and I've heard mistaken things of how they won't just do you the whole end of bolt sale, or it's the minimum 2 yards, but then they will cut up the rest as remnants, and so it's like I'm waiting for, okay, let me get my money's worth on the nice black apparel fabric that I'll use. So I did get some cross charms. I've been making some more of the jewelry, but actually you can see I was going to do a jewelry video over there. I haven't been putting so many crosses on some of my charms, or I've been doing them mostly here in bracelets where I'm only using one instead of like 2 earrings, or I have a lot of sideways of the cross charms. But I actually was kind of maybe a little low on cross charms. I didn't necessarily need this cute little cameo, but I wanted it for $3. I will probably see. Now, I initially thought that I was just going to put a pin back on it. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, part of me is like, ooh, maybe I do want it on a choker. But I also got this little set for $4, where I thought, oh, okay, a little cute 2 cameo earrings, a little cameo pendant, maybe also a little cameo pin or another cameo ring. They were cute. I mean, I do already have other cameo things, but sue me. Some of these were metal. I think one of them might be plastic. Hematite stone. Well, this one says it's hematite. And ooh, I have other hematite jewelry, but these I can tell are not magnetic. I've never actually super been a fan of this sort of the Hildy brand. I haven't really gotten a lot of jewelry things at Joann's. But These were all half off, and so I kind of tried to get more of my sort of metallic or filler kind of spacer kind of beads. So that's kind of a nice sort of gunmetal kind of color. And here's like just a little bit of a copper kind of tone one. And this one's like a little bronze. And then this one I think is, yeah, just the little plastic ones, little spacers that are sort of more silver, shiny silver and golds. For generally, I kind of cheat a little bit where I'll do, you know, nice what I want in the front, and then as I get kind of near the back where I have to do all kind of fidgeting and adjusting is where I'll put more of this matching kind of filler beads in the back, you know, like with my hair, who's gonna notice? I previously had worn this dress actually with a nice choker that I made and longer dangle earrings, and then I kind of realized, well, with this nice collar that's on it, a dangle earring and a dangle choker here, maybe it's just a little too much. So I really don't need anything else. At this point, I'm going for the sales, trying to stock up while I can. And I realized that I really don't need anything because that yellow gold fabric that I didn't have, that I bought for my niece, I realized I didn't have a designated drawer over there for it, where I have everything else kind of stationed and organized. And so I had to shove it in another drawer that I had to kind of fudge closed. So I am to the point where I'm going to the Joann's just to stock up on my craft closet, but I'm also to the point where it's like, I really need to start using what's in my craft closet. So I've been getting some jewelry done. I've been doing little sewing projects, trying to get back into the groove of things, minor things. So I hope I should be getting to do some more jewelry videos on some of the things I've done. So also little write-ups, and maybe do a video on some of the little black and orange polka dot experimentation that I've been doing. So I have to get all of my pile organized here. If this thing has to stay down here in my basement, it's probably going to become a pumpkin. Deal with it. But that's the weather we have to figure on first. Climate change is real, people. So I am on Blue Sky as Kbatz Crafts also. I have Therefore Review is where I've been doing less DVD hauls and video hauls and movie reviews because I've been trying to get some of the writing done and I haven't been shopping for media as much. So I've been doing a few more of these thrift hauls and fabric Joann things because I've been getting out and about. So I'm Kbatz Craft on Blue Sky. We're trying to post and keep track of some of the things that I'm doing. So love to hear from your shopping adventures and excursions and your creativity and ideas. There was kind of a really low kind of down point here for me maybe a few weeks ago. February was very touch and go, just with everything that's happening in the world. You know, it's like, who cares about little crafting things and making things? But then I don't know, I had a burden lift off of my shoulders just of like, you know, do what brings you joy, you know. And so I've been getting some fun, exciting things done. So, but I have to clean up first. So thank you for watching. Bye.